All right, everybody, welcome. We are happy to have our Green River virtual tasting today, hosted by Caryn Wells. Thank you so much for joining us, National Brand Ambassador for Green River. Please tell us about you.
Oh wow. Yeah, so I've been with our distillery now since 2018. I actually started as a part-time tour guide, believe it or not. I was retired at the time, and when you move to Kentucky after you retire and you have a distillery that opens in your hometown, it's just a natural fit that you go there and you start learning about it. And we have a local bourbon society here that I started attending the meetings and whatnot, thanks to my aunt. And lo and behold, just one thing led to another. And I casually mentioned that I was retired and would love to be a tour guide. And so that's how I started. I was started part-time, loved it so much that it rolled into full-time. And then when you just start. I like learning, and so the more I learned, the more I educated people and whatnot. And if our head distiller wasn't available for special tours, then they asked me to do it. And in 2022, when we launched the brand, they asked me if I wanted to be the national brand ambassador. And so naturally my question was, what do I have to do? And they said, well, you're going to have to talk to people. You'll do tastings, you'll do trainings, dinners, whatever, and you'll travel quite a bit. And I said, and you're going to pay me to do this? And they said, yes. I said, okay, then let's go. Let's go have some fun. And so that started in 2022. So I'm coming up on 3 years of being the national brand ambassador and 8 years total being with the distillery.
Wow, that's great. I love that story because so many people are intimidated when we talk about whiskey and flavors and notes and what goes into it. And you just started at the ground and worked your way up, and now you're the expert. And so I think that's awesome. I think that can show everybody like, hey, just keep drinking and have fun and enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. I always tell people, believe it or not, I usually tell people, I mean, I enjoy my bourbon neat now. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good cocktail as well. But if I just want to sit down and enjoy a pour of bourbon, I'm going to enjoy it neat. But when I first started drinking bourbon, I always tasted it neat, but
Hmm.
then I would add something into it, and quite frankly and honestly, my favorite mixer when I first started was Mountain Dew. And please don't judge me. Mountain Dew was made as a chaser for whiskey. So it was a natural pairing, and it was my baby steps to get off of using the mixer. So and now I'm a big girl now and I drink it neat. So
My
So
wife
did you
told me that the
start
other day.
drinking? Do you start drinking whiskey when you started with the company, or shortly
oh
before
Lord,
that?
no.
Or
No,
okay,
no, 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 I that would probably go back to college and then some previous careers. So yeah, no, I've always had enjoyed whiskey, but I can't say I knew a lot about it, if that makes sense.
All right, so tell us about Green River.
Yeah, there's a lot. Where would you like me to start?
I did see that you are DSP 10, so one of the oldest in existence, and I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So our roots go all the way back to 1885, and we're on the original property as to where it was started. Back in 1885, Owensboro, Kentucky was actually the mecca for distilleries, believe it or not. We had about 50 active distilleries. So it made sense that, a distillery would have existed and then it came back to life. So, very dominant brand for about 33 years, from 1885 to 1918. In 1918, a trash fire took out the entire distillery in 3 hours. So
Oh,
that pretty much did the brand in. That was right before Prohibition. The distillery was rebuilt, but it never got back up and running before Prohibition kicked in 1920. Fast forward to after Prohibition in 1933, John McCulloch, who had started Green River, he passed away during Prohibition, and his family was not interested in getting back into it, and they sold off the brand. And it sold a couple of times, and it stayed around until about the 50s, but it was never nearly as successful as it once was. The distillery itself was reopened, and it was operated for about 60 years by the Medley family, who are local here to Owensboro. During the time that they had it, products like Ezra Brooks and Mellow Corn were made right there at the distillery.
Mm.
And then in the late 80s, Charles Medley, he shut the distillery down, sold off Ezra Brooks to Luxco, sold off Mellow Corn to Heaven Hill, and and then it sat dormant again for about 25 years. And in 2014, some investors found it. The structures were good, but everything else needed a ton of work. So it took 2 years and close to $50 million to get everything back up and running. We started producing again in 2016. We did expansions in 2017 and 2018. And by 2019, we were producing about 90,000 barrels a year.
Mm.
So that's the short version of it,
Yeah.
without a lot of all the history in it. 2020 came around. We were ready to put Green River back out on the market, and of course, glass shortages, cork shortages, one thing after another. We just decided to wait, and we finally brought Green River back out onto the market in 2022. It was February 10th, actually. 2022 was when the first product hit the shelves again.
All
Any
right.
Now,
idea how they came up with the name?
Green River. So the original location of the distillery was actually on the Green River, which is about 10 miles outside of Owensboro. The original distillery's name was called the Eagle Distillery, and John McCulloch bought that, but it was a terrible location. It was in a floodplain. The Green River is very narrow. You could literally swim across it in like 5 minutes, if that. And so he when he bought the Eagle Distillery, he moved it to Owensboro, to the property that we have. We only assume that he named it Green River just to honor that original location. We don't have any of the direct lineage on that, so that is an assumption, but it makes sense.
All right. So I don't want to get booed from our members. So let's get a glass of whiskey going here and let's talk about that first pour.
Sure. So the first one that we're trying tonight is our what we call our flagship. So this is our straight bourbon whiskey. This is a combination of 4, 5, and 6-year-old barrels. Uh, it is 70% corn, 21% rye grain, and 9% malted barley. We proofed it at 90 proof. Just we like the flavor of it. It pulls in a lot of your caramels and your brown sugars and your maples. I don't talk too much in the flavors because I don't want to taint somebody's opinion of it. But with the rye, 21% rye, you're pulling in the spices that a rye can give, but
Hmm.
I don't think it's very overwhelming. To me, you pull out more of the baking spices versus the sharp peppers that you're used to getting with a higher rye content.
I think that's one of the things that turned me on to your guys's whiskey is that the high rye mash bill really hits the ones I like. When Todd and I are picking whiskeys, I usually gravitate towards those.
Yeah, and see when we laid that down in 20 we laid that down in 2016. That was 21% was considered high rye. Be 15 to 18% was the
Hmm.
norm. And so 21 was considered high. Now, I mean, heck, our sister distillery, Bardstown, we have a 36% rye. So we're on the lower spectrum of it now, but we still refer to it as a high rye bourbon.
Hmm.
Now, I will say this. I know I see somebody said spicy but tasty. I always say this to people. If you're tasting it neat and your spice is going to come in one of two places, some of you are going to get all the spice up here in your mouth and it's going to be really smooth when you swallow. And that's fantastic. If and a lot of people get that. That's how it drinks for me. But there's a lot of us also that get the spice where it's smooth in the mouth, but it pops us right in the throat. If that happens to you and you don't like the spice in your throat, or vice versa, you want the spice in your throat, put 1 drop of water in it. 1 drop of water flips it. It opens it up. It allows the sweetness to come out. It takes those spices and it will literally flip it on your palate.
Hmm.
So if anybody's sitting at home and you have a glass of water there, even just take your finger and put your finger in the water and throw 1 drop in that glass and it will literally flip it.
Hmm.
It's quite amazing. And there's no right or wrong. A lot of people will say, oh, you should only drink the bourbon neat. I don't want to add water to it. I don't want to have it on the rocks. We've tried it in all those different expressions. We've tried it in cocktails before we put it out there so that we know how it's going to work in all of those varieties, and aiming to just hit, a multitude of different palates out there.
Awesome. So this is your flagship whiskey. How
Mhm.
much of a small batch are you making with this?
Well, for us, typically we use about 300 barrels when we're doing this. And it will, depending on what we're going to proof it at, your yield is going to be a little different each time. But the amount of barrels really is going to be determined by the profile of it, because we
Hmm.
want to maintain that flavor profile on it. So I say it's somewhere in the 300 barrel range,
Okay,
is what we use, could give or take.
nice.
But I think this is one of my favorite pours. And the longer it sits out, the sweeter it gets on it. Also, I will say every one of our products is non-chill filtered.
Hmm.
And so what that means is we're leaving the good fatty acids or the good oils in the bourbon, which is what gives you the nice legs on your glass. And you want that because it's going to coat your palate better. It's going to leave more flavor in your palate as well, and it can handle having that cube of ice, or however you want to enjoy it. It can handle all of that.
It definitely has a higher viscosity for a 90 proof whiskey. And I
Yeah,
like that. It has a real buttery feel, a lot of honey, and I like that.
yeah, yeah. This is my go-to if I'm going to drink multiple pours for the night. If I'm starting early and it's going to go later in the evening, then I'm going to start with this. If it's later in the evening and I'm starting, then I'm going to go to our full proof probably. That's where I like to go. Yeah, I could see where you get a little rum aroma on that. Somebody typed in there.
Hmm.
But for a 90 proof whiskey, it holds up well. You can mix it, you can drink it neat, and for me, it's a lot of it is the price point. I want to be able to enjoy a bottle and not feel guilty about drinking it because I'm knowing how much money I spent on it.
Yeah,
And so that's what I like about this. The suggested retail on this is $35 a bottle. You just can't beat it, and it's
yeah,
consistent, and it's an everyday shelf item. It's not something that you have to go get in line for or put your name on a list for. If you can't get it, it's simply because the store didn't order enough or the distributor didn't order enough, not
hmm.
because we don't have enough.
Tyler, do you know how
Just
much it is at high proof?
I put a link in the chat, 29.99.
Oh, nice.
is there a
Can I?
particular cocktail you enjoy with this?
Um, wow, great question. I enjoy a good old fashioned, and I think this works really well with it because what I enjoy out of a bourbon is I do enjoy the brown sugars, the caramels, the maples in it. So when I'm making an old fashioned, I tend to use the true Demerara sugar cubes where I'm muddling it myself. And I think this works really well when you do that. If you're using a simple syrup with it, which there's nothing wrong with it, it's a lot easier to use a simple syrup. Then I tend to mix that with the rye because the rye can handle that a little bit more. It's a little more stout to hold, to handle the water that's added into that simple syrup, where this works better for me with the true sugar cube.
Okay, great. Any questions out there about the first pour?
We had a question come in from Jamie. Is there going to be a U.S. Navy anniversary bottle? Probably similar to the nod for the Army bottle.
Boy, that's been a big question all over. So, actually, no, there isn't going to be a U.S. Navy, but what we did do, and it actually just went live on October 27th, is you can actually go onto our website. It's greenriverwhiskey.com/army, and you can have a
Caryn,
personalized
I didn't.
strip to go right across the front of the
I
bottle,
swear.
so that you can personalize it to
I
whoever you
hold
want.
on. I
And
don't
for
have.
whoever
It wasn't
asks
me.
that, It was actually one of my first questions too, because one of my brothers served in the Navy and one of my brothers served in the Air Force. So a natural question for me was, oh, when are we doing those? Because that's perfect. But no, we won't be doing another exclusive, but in honor of Veterans Day coming up. And that Army bottle was proofed at 111.1, which equates to November 11th. We did do this where you can personalize your own tag. And we did 10,000 cases of that launch originally. And I believe we just released another 3 or 5,000 cases. So if it's out there, get it. And because I don't know if we're going to make more. So I know right now what's out there is out there. But that website was greenriverwhiskey.com/army.
And that's the
And that
same
should take
mash
it.
bill, same bourbon, just
So
proofed
no,
at
it's not. The mash bill on that is 75% corn, 15% rye, 10% malted barley. So we did it a little different, just to set it apart, and then proofed it obviously at that 111.1. And as a caveat on that, every aspect of that label of that bottle had to be approved by the United States Army. So much to the point that every bottle has an official U.S. Army sticker on the side of it. It's an officially licensed product. So for
Wow.
$50, you can't go wrong. I mean, it was a big honor. Of course, I don't know if you guys know, but our CEO is a retired colonel from Delta Force. He served multiple tours, and so it was a big passion. And we give a percentage back to the United States Army for the veterans and the families. We want to make sure that we're always taking care of them.
Wow. Great. All right. So let's move on to our weeder.
Yeah, the wheated bourbon. So I don't know how many of you know this, but Green River Wheated Bourbon just won Bourbon of the Year in the New York Spirits Competition, a very high honor for us. We all found out last Sunday night when our
Wow.
phones started going off that we had won the award. So it's a huge honor for us. And their biggest comment was the quality of the bourbon for the $35 everyday shelf price. And again, that it's not allocated. So you can get it all day, every day. So this one, ironically, this is a mirror image of our flagship. So this is now 70% corn, 21% wheat,
Wow.
9% malted barley. And we use soft red winter wheat for it. Soft red winter wheat is physically redder in color, softer as a grain, and sweeter if you were to eat a white wheat and a red wheat side by side. It definitely tastes sweeter. So we like the flavor profile that comes off of this one. In my personal opinion, I think it brings out a lot of stone fruit
Mm.
aromas on the nose, and you pick that up on the palate too. But your nose, to me, tends one way, and your palate picks it up in a little different way. I think a lot of peach and apricot come forward with it.
That's what I
But
was
if I
getting.
pair it, when I do sensory tastings with this, I actually pair this with a dried sweet cherry.
Mm.
And cherries are still a stone fruit.
Hmm.
Anything with a pit is a stone fruit, and it actually pairs really well, which is kind of fun because wheated bourbons are kind of taking center stage right now out on the market. So this is one of my favorite pours as well.
You bring up a good point, pairing with food and things. And so when you're doing these tastings, are you doing that with all your pours or this one specifically or?
Yeah, so it all depends on what people want, but typically I have there's two different sensory tastings that I do. My main one is called the Caryn experience. I know you guys find that
Got
probably
it.
kind of fun. So seeing how I spell my name with a C
Hmm.
and a Y, we just kind of did a little play on words there. And so I do that when I do that experience, there are two different sensory items for our core four pours.
Hmm.
So two for the wheated, two for the bourbon, two for the rye, two for the full proof. And then I always bring a single barrel with me. And that is just, I let people enjoy it as it is. But I like to show everybody the different spices or the different it could just be a butterscotch chip that you can pull out of the different pours, because I think it's important that people see the flip side of it. When we're trying to learn how to do this, um, it has more darker fruits. Yes, I agree with you, Tyler. Um, when you're trying to start to like bourbon, we talk about all these different flavors, and I remember thinking to myself, how where the hell are they coming up with these things? I'm smelling alcohol. I'm not getting all of this right off the bat, but it's a training process.
Mhm.
And then once you start to pick it up, then it really becomes fun, because then you can all of a sudden one day it'll hit you. It's like, oh my gosh, this does smell like apple pie, or this does taste like, peach pie, whatever it might be. But that's the cool part, is using the sensory items and watching people actually get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that one. So you said 21% wheat. That's, I don't know normal wheat mash bills. Is that a higher percentage of wheat?
No, it all depends. Typically, it's a little lower because you're going to lower the corn content, let the wheat come out a little
Mm,
bit more. But when we were laying this down, we thought, well, it'd be interesting to see. I think what's really fun about it, and what I try to show a lot of people, so many people are getting into bourbon and they start with a certain pour because their friend, their husband, whatever, they tell them, oh, start with this one. This is what you're going to like. And the thing is that everybody's palate's different. So I always tell people, when you're starting to drink bourbon, if you're not sure which one, uh, it's easy for me to say this: get a bottle of each of ours, because they're literally mirror images, and we use the same yeast strain. So then you're going to
mhm.
see the difference between what is a wheated bourbon and what is a high rye bourbon. And I hear so many people out there with the best of intentions and the best of hearts start with a wheated bourbon. It's going to be smoother for you. That is not true for everybody. It can be very spicy for some people because their
Mhm.
palates are different. And I use the analogy of cilantro. There's a lot of people that love cilantro, want it on everything. And then there's some of us that go, oh my gosh, that tastes like soap. Neither one of us are wrong. It's just our palates are different. And if we take medications, that screws up our palates. So, just get them both, try them both, and then start making your journey on your own.
I think it's interesting. It has a very similar mouthfeel and texture to the bourbon, but it feels softer.
Yeah, it can. So again, we use 4, 5, and 6-year-old barrels on this, and it's still the 300 barrel range, in that area, and it's still proofed at 90 proof. So
Mm.
everything is identical to it. Literally, uh, this is very light on the finish. I like it. Yeah, I agree with you on that funk on the wheat. Um, this is it, mirror images. So just have fun with it and play around with it. When I use, and somebody asked me earlier about the regular high rye bourbon, what do you mix with it? On this one, I actually like to put our wheated bourbon in an espresso martini.
Hmm.
Don't judge me until you try it. Once you put bourbon in a martini, you will never go back into an espresso martini. It pulls out so many different flavors, and the wheat is sweet, and it really works well with those coffee beans, and it's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Brian. I was just gonna say my friends would believe you because I make that cocktail for them.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's my favorite go-to. And I also, I'll do I like a Gold Rush. A Gold Rush is good. The
mhm.
honey and the lemon. That's always really nice. And the wheat goes well with that as also great with dark chocolate. I believe that.
Mhm. There we go. Um, these guys are all critics over here. They like to come over to my house and drink for free, but they complain about everything. So, man, all right. Were there any
Paducah,
questions
yeah,
about this one?
Paducah's a great part. Okay, Jamie, if you've never been back to Paducah, you need to go back there. Barrel and Bond is there. They probably have about probably close to 1,000 different bourbons now. They had 900 when I was there the last time. They've got it's a great food scene down there. Freight House is there, and there's it just yeah. If you get a chance, go back there. You
I'll,
won't be disappointed.
I'll be there on Tuesday.
Oh, there you go. Go to Barrel and Bond.
Yep.
Make sure you tell Shem I said hey.
Yep. Will do.
Well, the trip we did our pick, which was coming up. Or no, sorry, we were supposed to do our pick. We went to your
Yeah.
sister distillery, Bardstown, and then they said, "Oh, come back Thursday. Come Thursday, we'll do the Green River." Well, there was a miscommunication. We went to Bardstown, and I guess we were supposed to go to your distillery, and so they shipped us the samples that we ended up picking. But so hopefully next trip we'll get out to see the distillery in person.
Yeah, please do. It's really cool. Going back to our history and stuff, most of our buildings are from the 40s and the 50s. So after the distillery burned in 1918 and it was rebuilt, but then there were, obviously there were still early in the distilling era, there were still fires and stuff, but the majority of them are still original. The still house is really cool. It's just you feel it. You feel the history when you walk in. And unique to the bourbon industry, especially here in Kentucky, 5 of our rick houses are clay tile, and that's very unusual. It's a very expensive way to build rick houses. The only other distillery that I'm aware of in Kentucky that even has one is Woodford Reserve, and we have 5 of them. So when you walk into one of those rick houses, it's just a whole different feeling. I mean, any rick house is cool to walk into, but the clay tile ones are really special. So fun time.
So Brian brought up the Green River song. It's Creedence Clearwater Revival that sings it.
CCR did one,
Yeah.
and also John Prine. John Prine's home is only about 35 miles from Owensboro. So
Okay.
John Prine also wrote about Green River.
All right. So our third pour of the night is going to be our foolproof.
Yeah, yeah. So you've got the 117.9 proof. That was actually that's at least that's what you put in your
Yep.
notes.
Hmm.
The 117.9. Yeah, so that was actually our third batch. So fun story about Foolproof is that when we came out with Green River and the first 3 expressions, the weeded, the flagship are both 90 proof, and then the rye is 95 proof. And we had some critics out there saying, "Oh, well, I'd like Green River better if it was at a higher proof." But as I always tell everybody, well, you can't come out with 100 proof bourbon right off the bat because then you got no place to go. So we come out, you step out of the gate and then you work your way up. And we knew we were going to come out with a higher proof. So this came out in June of 2024. And before we released it, we asked our sales team. At the time we were in, I want to say we were in 38 states. And we asked them, how many cases do you need to go from June, July through December? And they said, if you make 7,000 cases, we'll be good. And says, okay, we'll make you 7,000 cases. Well, a month and a half later, we were completely sold out. So needless to say, Foolproof was a huge hit. We are now, I believe, on our 4th batch, getting ready to do our 5th. So there are some varying proofs out there. You asked if there were. The very first proof that came out was 117.3. Then we came out with a 118.1, 117.9, and I believe the next one coming out is a 116, I think, but don't quote me on that. So obviously it's gone really well. We actually entered the full proof in the Los Angeles Spirits competition, and it took home Bourbon of the Year for them this past year. So very honored again to have that award bestowed upon one of our products. And for $50 or the suggested retail of $49.99, I don't think you can beat it. I mean, it's really a solid pour.
Completely agree. And this is one of the first, I think this is the first product I had from you guys was your foolproof. And this is the area I like to drink, the 117. This is, you can feel full body, like the mouth feel is great. I like this.
Yeah, it's and if that's the price that I saw on that, you guys need to buy that. I'll put an order and you can ship it to me because I can't even buy it that cheap. That's a killer price on that. But
We are
yeah, this
lucky.
is it surprises a lot of people because I think, and that's why when I'm doing tastings, I don't won't tell anybody what proof we're tasting that night. On my tasting mats, it says varies because I don't know which proof I'm going to get wherever I'm at, and I don't like telling people because I think it sets a when you say anything over 100, it put automatically goes to your head and you think, oh my gosh, this is going to be hot or this is going to be this, or this is going to be that. When people taste it and I ask them to try and guess it, they're saying in the 110 range, which
Hmm.
is where personally think it sits on my palate. That's where I see it as well. So when I tell them it's 117 or 118, it blows their mind because it doesn't drink, to me, it doesn't drink that hot.
So who's making the decision to say this is going to be a foolproof barrel, this one's going to be a small batch barrel? Who's in the process of doing that?
Yeah, great question. So we have a team. Everything that we do is a team, but ultimately our master blender, who is Dan Calloway, Dan will, make the final decision on everything. But what we're doing is we're looking at lots. I mean, these lots are always tested all the time. And we want to make sure that we're getting the right balance on the profile because there's nothing more important than once you put a product out like foolproof and now you the consumer is expecting it to maintain that certain flavor. You That's our job, is to come back with it. That's why that proof varies a little bit because it does have a little edge to
Yeah.
it. The other thing that we also have to work with as well is that we're dealing with control states, and control states are really they're a real pain in the butt. We get like a zero point 0.3 variance on the proof, and if it goes over that, then we have to, or I won't say we, but our people that are managing those states, they actually have to apply to the state to get new labels and new colas and everything else. And so there's a fine line that we have to walk on everything, and that it really puts a lot of pressure on the distilleries to maintain that level of quality and the standard consistency.
Hmm. Um, so you said Dan Calloway, is he
Dan
over at
Calloway,
Bardstown?
yeah. What are the ages on the foolproof? So we use 5, 6, and 7-year-old barrels on this.
Hmm.
So we're gonna again we're gonna pull between somewhere around 300 barrels on this. The difference is that instead of adding water to it like we would to proof it down to 90 proof, what the proof comes out at is where it lies. So it's the full proof of those barrels. By law, there is no definition of what a full proof is. For some distilleries, it's the proof that they put it into the barrel at. For others, it's the full proof of that particular barrel because all the barrels can vary.
Hmm.
Jay, you started to ask Dan Calloway. He's
Mhm.
also at Bardstown. He also works at
Yeah,
Bardstown.
yeah. So Dan, yeah, he's our master blender for both distilleries. So he is. We have two head distillers that are at each distillery running the day-to-day operations, and then he's the master blender over both. Both distilleries. But we also have a team. It's just it's made up of people from Green River, people from Bardstown, and we all get together. We all have different flavor, palettes on everything so that way we're getting a nice true test of what we feel will be well received by the consumers.
But your distillate and everything is made in Green River, bottled, everything there.
Yeah, we don't source. We
Okay.
are the source.
Hmm.
Yeah, we have one still. It is 54 inches in diameter and stands 4 stories tall. It's one of the largest stills in the industry. We've been running it at about 75%. Last year, we did about 112,000 barrels
Wow.
at 75% capacity. And we have 27 rick houses currently storing about 600,000 barrels. So, yeah, column still. It's a column still with a copper doubler on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, crank it up. Ooh, Lord have mercy. When it was running at 75% capacity, when we run it that way, we're running about 350 to 400 barrels a day off of the still.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're while we are considered, I guess you could probably say to an extent we're considered craft, we really aren't. It by Kentucky standards, you're a craft distillery if you're producing less than 50,000 barrels a year.
Mm.
So we've never really, the very first year we were a craft distillery, we did 17,000 barrels. And from that, since that time in 2016 was 17,000 barrels. 2017 we jumped up to 70,000 barrels. So we've never been that. We are on the heritage member on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Part of it with our capacity, the other part with our DSP number.
Yeah.
So you
Um,
started distilling in 2017, 2017,
2016.
you said? 2016, but you
Yep.
didn't start selling until 2022?
Yeah, we didn't put anything out on the market under the Green River label until 2022.
So how do you earn income for 5, 6 years?
Yeah, well, we were making a lot of bourbon. I mean, obviously, we just sold a lot of younger stuff. We sold it overseas. That there was a big market for that. We never had to worry about making. We never made vodka or gin, which is really common,
Right.
to make those clear spirits because it's an instant turnaround. We've never done that. We just consistently started putting out bourbon, and then setting it back and letting it age. So it's been a pretty fun ride to see everything and to see how it's all progressed on it. We're just very fortunate to have some good investors to begin with that we didn't need to do any of that.
I think that's an excellent pour. And the price point on it and everything, you're hitting like just a real quality bourbon for a great price. Are you feeling the crunch right now with the market at all?
Honestly, for our brand, no. We are up hand over foot on this right now.
Good.
We are now currently in 45 states and two countries, and we don't see a decline. I can't say that isn't true for some other brands, but I think for us, what was important and what has saved us is the fact that when we brought this back we didn't bring it out at an astronomical price point.
Hmm.
We brought it back at a reasonable price point. We made it readily available. You don't have to buy, one thing to get something else. You can just get Green River Bourbon, and I think that has made all the difference in the world for us right now.
Yeah.
I know I just came back from a trip to New Jersey, and I know you guys may find this hard to believe, but New Jersey is just they're tearing it up this year. They got Green River in it and they are loving it. And so,
Nice.
it's a fun time for us with our brands, both our Bardstown brand and our Green River brand. They're both doing fantastic. So yeah. You have to be cautious on everything. You can't go out
Yeah.
there and be wild, but yeah, we're doing it right, I think.
Well, we definitely appreciate the price point. So, let's try our fourth pour. This is our
Yeah.
rye.
The rye. So this is really cool. So when we laid this down, we started laying this down in 2016 and 2017. And at that time, MGP out of Indiana, out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, they were making a 95% rye, 5% malted barley, very popular.
Very.
So we too laid down 95.5 rye. And so this is all ours. We do not source. We are the source. People buy from us. We don't buy from people. And yeah, I love this. I describe this as a bourbon lover's rye. Typically, when you get a 95.5 rye at 95 proof and you go to nose it's going to burn your senses, just because that's the nature of a rye grain. It's a very spicy grain. This is not going to do that. Matter of fact, if you didn't know that this was a rye whiskey, you probably in a blind would not pick it out. You might pick it out ultimately that it's different, but you wouldn't say that it was a 95.5 rye. And I credit a lot of this to being the fact that we use the same yeast strain that we made our bourbon with to make our rye with. Typically, you will change that up because rye is just a different grain, and we did not. So instead of it being all peppery and as I like to say, up in your business, it's a lot more flavorful. It's more. You do get some pepper, but it's more baking spices. It's the I don't know. I get some citrus notes on it. I pick
Yes.
up some honey on it.
I was gonna say
And I think
honeysuckle.
that's what is really appealing to people because, again, bourbon's already an
Mhm.
acquired taste. Rye's even more of an acquired taste. So a lot of times people are very fearful of getting into ryes. They use them in their mixed drinks because they hold up really well. But to sit and drink on it neat, that's a different story. So I really like this one. And to me, the best part of it is that usually as a consumer, you pay more because it's a more expensive grain for us to buy from the farmer, but it's also a real pain in the butt to work with. So therefore, all of that comes back to you, the consumer. And we didn't do that. That's the same line price as what your wheated bourbon and your high rye bourbon is.
So I like this. There's, like you said, there's citrus, there's honeysuckle, it's real soft and approachable. But I think we have to go to our rye expert, Bob. So Bob over here always says he's not a rye guy. What do you think, Bob? No, Bob fell asleep probably.
Actually, I'm enjoying it, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a hard critic, that one.
Yeah, I definitely get the citrus in there for sure.
Yeah, it
It
is.
doesn't
It's
have that punch.
it's really it is full of citrus flavors on that. That's what
Mhm.
makes it so fun for me.
Yeah, it's actually very tasty.
Not half bad, right, Bob?
But don't quote me on that, or don't put it like on a shirt or a hat or
I hate to
something.
tell you, Bob, but this is being recorded, so
Uh,
Hey, Karen,
Bob
So-
doesn't.
we had a question coming in from Jess. Does Green River distill Bardstown rye?
no, we both make our own stuff. Yeah. We do about five, maybe six different mash bills at Green River. We have a computerized system, but it's just not as state of the art as our Bardstown side is. At Bardstown, we can control about 500 different points of the distillation process. We don't have that luxury at Green River. We keep ours a little bit more what I call old school to an extent, and we focus on what we do really well.
I yeah,
There's
there's
a
some.
lot of people that use a lot of our stuff. We have a lot of NDAs on things, non-disclosure agreements. But I can tell you some of the things that you will see out there. I can tell you several little key facts here. We do make bourbon for Dirk Spantley, and he boldly states that Row 94 is his product, but we make it for him. We do make stuff for Blue Note buys barrels from us. RD1 buys barrels from us. OH Ingram buys barrels from us. So those are they. I can't say that all of their stuff is strictly ours, but they will buy barrels from us. Maybe do some blending or finishing on that. We do make stuff for Specs, Total Wine, Bevmo out there for you guys. So we do make products for them. It usually the bottle will tell you where it's made. If it says it's made in Owensboro, Kentucky, or it says DSPKY10, we're the only distillery in Owensboro, Kentucky. So there's kind of a giveaway right there. If it says DSPKY10, we're the only DSPKY10. So
I
little help there.
I read an article
So-
recently talking about how MGP really created the 95.5, but they gave you guys a lot of credit for really moving it forward and doing a great job with it. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Todd.
it's really been fun with that. We've done a lot of it, and right now I think, like I said, with our rye, I don't gravitate towards ryes, but I love our rye. I just think it tastes so different because you can actually taste it versus just getting scorched with pepper,
Mhm.
And not that there's anything wrong with that, it just doesn't work for my palate.
I like the way you stated that. It's I don't gravitate towards them either, but when they're approachable, I really enjoy them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a
So,
lot of them out there, and everybody's starting to do something different with it, which I think is great. And of course, and I say this with respect to, you know, you use your good control. The more you drink, the more your palate will get used to things. So, you will start to understand those flavors of the rye. But I always tell people when I'm tasting them on rye, get your mind right. Rye is going to be drier and earthier tasting. It is not going to be that sweet and soft on your palate like the bourbon is. So as long as you have your mind in the right mode, I guess to say, then you will understand what we're saying. Doesn't mean you have to like it. You'll just understand what that rye is trying to do.
so did you release this the same time as you released the bourbons? And how long before you do a foolproof rye?
Foolproof rye. Yeah, so the flagship came out first, the regular high rye bourbon. Then we came out with the wheated, and 3 months after that we came out with the rye. And then that was all in 2022 and 2023. In 2024, 2022 is right, early 2024 is when we came out with the rye whiskey, and then summer of 2024 is when we came out with foolproof bourbon. The rye is, yeah, you'll probably see something in the future. That's not the next thing that's coming up. The next thing that you guys will see out in the market, if I had to guess, would probably be more on the wheated side.
Okay.
We did bottled and bond.
I don't think there's, as far as NDPs, well, sometimes it's not necessarily on our part. It's on that company's part. Does that make sense? Somebody asked about the NDPs and being more transparent. Some people don't want people to know, and that's okay. It's not necessarily on our end. It's on their end. But if you think about it, there's only so many distilleries in Kentucky. If it says if it says it's a Kentucky bourbon, then it has to be made in Kentucky. So that's one giveaway, is to know where it's coming from. But also some people just don't want people to know, and that's their prerogative.
What'd you ask, Todd?
I said, is it a weeded bottled and bond? Because we have the foolproof
Well,
and we have
well, we're a fully bonded facility, I can tell you that much. But I don't want to ruin your hopes. But no, it's not going to be a bottled and bond. It's not yet, not yet. Weeded takes a little longer to age, and it's got to meet our standards, and so that's the biggest thing. And we don't want to bombard the market. So you also want to watch, what the market's doing and what is being called for. So I don't think you guys will be disappointed with what's going to be coming out.
Awesome. All right, now we get to move on. I don't know if you have one of these with you, but this is our bourbon single barrel that we were able to pick.
Yeah, I don't have that one, but I have mine. My single barrel, and I know you can't see it because I got the blur on. This is my Rickhouse G. This is the bottle that I bring with me if somebody doesn't have one.
Was this your pick?
Are we doing an American single malt soon? If we keep guessing, will you let something slip? I would say it would be a foolproof wheated.
I think we have that next, no?
That's a single barrel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's a single barrel wheated.
Oh, so
yeah,
it's
so
not
you
on
guys
mass
got to
release.
get two of them. That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
you got the right now. Are you doing the high rye first?
Yeah, so we're doing, yes, the first one right now is our single barrel bourbon. This is, I'm guessing it's the same mash bill. It's listed on the bottle here. The 70-21-9.
Yep.
Um
126.6 proof.
126.6. This is I don't think we had an age statement on it, did we, Todd?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do you have the sample bottle?
No, we have the
No.
bottle. We did the samples back 6, 7, 8 months ago.
Did you did you keep the 200 ml that it came out of? Did
I
you
don't
take a
think so.
picture of it?
Uh,
We have it
I'd
somewhere.
have to hunt that down, but
Jay,
if
you
we
have
have it,
one job.
I know,
That
I know.
that's okay.
That's what Todd keeps telling me, but it's like 47 one jobs.
Well, if Jay didn't, Todd should have taken a picture of it. If you took a picture of the label, I could tell you about it.
Only if Tyler would show up more often and do his job. So this was a fun pick. Like Todd was saying, we were at Bardstown and they came up to us and said, "Hey, do you guys want to do a Green River pick?" And we're like, "Yes, we do." Like, cool, come back. And so we went to the wrong location, messed it all up. People at the Bardstown were great to us. They bought us lunch instead, let us sit around and drink for free. So it was great. But they sent us the samples. We had a great time trying them. And then they were like, "Do you want a weeded one as well?" We're like, "Yes." So we're totally spoiled by you guys. You've been great to us. So we can't thank you enough for that. But yeah, we'll have
That
to.
would be on Brandon. That would be on Brandon Bartlett.
Brandon's really good to us. He is.
Yeah, that would be on Brandon because so the just a couple caveats on what you guys have. So what you're we did 300 single barrels of what you're currently drinking, and that was for all the US. So you have one of 300 single barrels. That was all we
Wow.
did this year for the high rye bourbon. Do the full proofs state the rick house on the label? The full proofs don't state the rick house on the label. And when you say full proof, do you mean the single barrels or do you mean the full proof that's out on the market? Need that's a question. The single barrels, yeah. So no, knowing our labels, you see how tight they are. So we only can put we've taken off the word or DSPKY10 on the label and allow you guys to put 25 characters across there. So that's where you have your WCWC right on the front of that.
Yes.
We don't have any other room to be able to put anything on the label as far as changing that up. Yeah.
So
Yep. So unfortunately we can't. But on the sample bottles that you get, and we can tell you everything about it, where it was, when it was, the day that it was put in the barrel, all of that stuff. So that's why if you had a picture of it, I should have asked our single barrel guy, but let me see, what time is it? It's 9 o'clock. He might be up. I don't know.
It's fine. It's okay.
oh yeah, that's right. You guys are in Western Kentucky. You're only 2 hours ahead.
Yeah, we're in Central Time Zone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're in the Central Time Zone. Our Bardstown campus is in the Eastern Time Zone. So yeah, it's only 9 o'clock here.
So ask our members real quick. I see Jamie's liking this one. How many of you have not tried our Green River single barrel bourbon? First time trying it.
Yeah, this is really good.
And I believe this is $59. Is that right, Tyler? $59 at high proof. This is a great bourbon.
Yeah, I think there hasn't been. I'm not at the distillery all the time to be able to be at the picks. If I am, I love to sit in on them and go through with them because a lot of times I'm out in their state when when they launch it. So then I go to the launches, and it's always fun to be able to sit there and pick with them and be able to taste it and then go out there and actually be able to talk about it.
Mm.
I wish I could have been there with you guys on these two because that would have been a lot of fun. But
Yeah, I think that stone fruit really comes through on this one. A lot of dark cherry, plum. I mean, it's a real jammy, delicious fruit forward.
yeah, there has yet to be a pick that I haven't enjoyed, and they all sit differently. Some of them will pick up a little bit more what I call heat or spice on it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just every barrel's different. So and it's got to be what you and your team like. I always tell people you have two choices when you're making a single barrel. You can take and pick a barrel that tastes like Green River just at an elevated proof, which is fine, or you can take something and pick something that's just off the charts. Maybe it's got a little funk to it, or maybe it, just a little bit. It has the underlying tones, but it just doesn't come right out at you that it is. And I think that's the beauty of being able to do single barrels is having those little varieties out there.
Totally agree. Todd and I, we've done a lot of barrel picks, and we went to one distillery and we're with a guy and he's like, I want this one. We're like, that is not even near the profile. Your people will be upset if you buy this one. It tastes like
Yeah.
mushroom. And we're like, it was on like the bottom floor. It didn't fit the profile whatsoever. But we totally agree. Like a little bit of classic, little elevated, maybe something unique, but you don't want completely uniform.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that somebody just asked, is this on the older side? Any of the barrels that went into the program by our own standards had to at least be 5 years old. And then at that point, what happens is Wes, who runs our single barrel program at Green River, he gets a list of barrels that are eligible to be selected as a single barrel. But before, he doesn't just take all of those barrels and, okay, these are the single barrels that people have to choose from. He actually goes out and takes a sample of every one of them, and then he brings them back, and either some combination of himself, our head distiller Aaron Harris, and me, all three of us will try them. And if we don't like them, then they don't get put into the single barrel program. He might just set them aside and come back and check on them in a few months and see where they're at. Um, I like all the maples and the brown sugars that come out of it. I really focus on the nose and then what that initial flavor profile. Wes likes all the spice that comes out of it, and Aaron likes all of the citrus notes that come out of it. So between the three of us, we have a really good variety. So if we like it, then we have no doubt that it's going to get picked. Otherwise, it might sit a little bit longer. But any of these barrels are at minimum 5 and heading towards 6.5 years. I didn't see that last question. What was that?
I was asking
Are
if it
all the
was
barrels?
53-gallon barrels.
Yeah. By law, it goes into 53. Well, I won't say it's 53 gallon, but the majority of us use 53-gallon barrels because that's what our rick houses are set up to handle, is a 53-gallon barrel.
Yeah, I like this because it's so well rounded. You get that sweet fruits in the front, you get that citrus, you get the spice, you get the tobacco. I mean, it's the full flavor profile at
Yeah.
126 proof. I mean, this is gonna warm you
126
up
point
and it doesn't burn.
126.6 tells me that it probably came out of Rickhouse G, which is one of our 6-story. It's wood frame and metal siding. I'm just taking a guess at this, but the higher proofs typically have come out of Rickhouse G, and I think it's. I mean, I wish I had a pour to try it because I'm sure it doesn't drink like it's 126.6.
Definitely
Well,
not.
are you gonna be out in California anytime?
Actually, I'll be out there in December. I'm coming out to NorCal and doing
You,
some work up there. So
well, that's a little ways
I don't
away,
have
but
huh?
that's a little ways away. But if you're down in SoCal, let
Yeah.
us
Well,
know.
we told him. I told Brandon they're supposed to be looking at trying to get me down to SoCal as well. So we'll see. We'll see if it works out. But I think it's the first week of December, something like that. That I'll be out there.
All right, we'll have to bring you some if we're in Kentucky then. So let us know if
Yeah,
you're around.
I will for sure. 117.9. There you go. I like that.
Okay. So our last pour of the night is our weeded single barrel.
Yeah.
This was this the first one in California, Todd? I'm gonna say it was. I might make making things up. I don't know.
You're going
But
for it.
I am. I'm owning it. No one's gonna fact check me on that.
Well,
So
I can tell you this much. The fact that you have one, it's one of only 100 weeded single barrels that we did at all this year.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate to have that.
Yeah, that you're very fortunate on that. Those were highly wanted barrels.
So
Yeah,
this one
that
is 124, getting dark
point
out here.
two.
0.2, yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. That's a higher one too. Most of the weeded ones have averaged somewhere in the 120. I haven't seen much over 124. Wheat takes a little bit longer to age. These weeded barrels, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this one came out of Rickhouse B because most of the weeded barrels came out of Rickhouse B. Rickhouse B is a clay tile rickhouse. So the difference between a clay tile and a metal, the clay tile has three independently sealed air pockets. So the brick is huge and it's very
Hmm.
heavy, but it breathes. It's porous, so it breathes better. We can work and control our humidity levels better in there. So that's it's been doing some fantastic work. And B is actually a hybrid of that because it collapsed on us. We had a partial collapse in 2018 on that one. Nothing was stored in it. Nobody was hurt. It was an empty building, but some storms came through and assisted it a little bit. So when we rebuilt it, we couldn't get the clay tile anymore. So half of that rick house is concrete block and a brick overlay, and the other half is the old school clay tile. So it's really been producing some really good stuff on the weeded bourbon.
Yeah, I love this one. Getting a lot of the tangerine, a lot of citrus on that, but has that sweet, soft front. It's very similar to the small batch that we tasted earlier,
Yeah,
but just a lot bolder.
yeah. It's the again, those weeded barrels have been a hot commodity, and they have not lasted long. I know that here in Owensboro, Aaron and I went to a release of the weeded single barrel, and the line started 3 hours, 4 hours before the store even opened. And we were just shaking our head, and it was gone. Because it was just so good. Sold out. It's
Ours is
already
sold
sold
out,
out.
Todd.
Holy cow.
We're supposed to have 71 bottles left. Let's see. So I'm not sure.
We're have to find it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I like this. There's a lot of the. I mean, you take out the rye, but you're still getting that spice profile. That malted barley comes through. I think this is a great pour. And I think, what is it, $79 for this one? So, I mean,
Don't quote me, because I know what the suggested retail is on it, but I don't know what you guys are
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's
we're
what we're
selling.
selling it for. Is it
79.99.
what is suggested?
Same price as the regular.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one's really hard to find. So,
Yeah, and again, people will do what it needs to be done, but we want people to drink the bourbon. We don't want people to look at it and go, "Gosh, I've heard of it, but I don't want to pay $100 for it or $120 for it." We
mine's
just
almost empty.
we just want people to
Yeah.
drink it. Yeah, and so we don't want to price it, out of the ballpark. We want to make it logical. Right now,
Mhm.
there's nothing out of the most expensive thing that we have out on the market is $80, and that's a bottle your own ceramic jug that you
Yeah,
can
I
do
got
at
one.
our Louisville tasting room. And that's an old school ceramic jug. And that's the most expensive thing that we have out there right now. And that's always a single barrel as well. So it's again, we just want people to enjoy it and have fun and learn and you know Does it require a tour or just a walk-in? So our Louisville tasting room, no, it's a tasting room, so it's not at the distillery. This is downtown Louisville, and no, it doesn't require anything. You can walk in and go in the speakeasy and bottle your own.
Nice.
Yeah, I got one on our trip, when
July.
did we go? July. It didn't make it home.
It didn't make it home?
No, my bag fell over and it cracked. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it sucked. So next time we'll have to get another one next time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
All right. Well, thank you for
So
guiding us through this tasting.
drop of
Um,
water to number 6. It's funny that you said that, Tyler, because I'll be in next week. I have to go to New York City, and then I go down to Florida. And when I'm in Florida, I'm going there because a group it's called Jack's Bourbon Social. They did a single barrel pick, and they loved it just as it was. But then one of the people put 2 drops of water in it as we were doing the tasting, and it opened it up and made it phenomenal. It was like a whole nother pour. It was really great. So they named their single barrel 2 drops optional.
oh,
And I mean, those are the cool things about a single barrel and what you can do, or and don't just you know don't. I always try to tell people it's okay to drink it neat, but it's okay to put a drop of water in it and see what happens to it too. So just have fun with it and enjoy it.
I like that point. When we're sitting around doing tasting notes on different things, we'll try it neat, we'll add water, and sometimes it makes it better, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
that's exactly it. There's no right or wrong.
All right. So we're going to open up the chat now and we can fire off questions.
I have
Tyler, you can move them forward or people can ask them live.
I have a collection of questions for Caryn. We want to do a lightning round.
Okay.
Sure.
Elijah asks, were you at Green River before the acquisition? Do you feel like anything changed, good or bad? First
Yeah,
question.
great question. So yes, I've been there since 2018. I was there when we launched Green River under our old company, and then I was there when, obviously, when we merged with Bardstown. Um, it's the best of both worlds, to be honest with you. We're the yin and the yang, so it's been a great positive thing for us. And we went from being in 4 states when we launched to the minute we merged with Bardstown. We immediately went into 21 more markets at that time. And now, in a mere, 3 years since we brought the brand back, we are now in 45 states and 2 countries. So it's been a great thing.
Very cool. Elijah also asks, are you doing an American single malt soon?
Yeah, so we have a lot of things getting laid down. Our head distiller, Aaron Harris, has been working on a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, today he even gave me a sample bottle of something. I left it out in my car. I have to go get it. But we're doing a bunch of different things. I think on the market side, what you'll see is more traditional stuff coming out of Green River. You will see the distillery only or distillery select stuff being some of those unique things that we might do, at least right now.
Very cool. Jamie asks, do some of the barrels end up being off-brand, end up being on the market? What percentage would you say ends up in being market barrels?
Great question. So if I tell you that we do about 100,000 barrels a year, 25% of those are for Green River, 75%
Wow.
are for whatever.
Wow.
Very cool. Joseph asks, any chance for a peated whiskey? Pizza like the smoky
Yeah,
kind.
that's a great question. That really is going to depend on the market. And again, I will tend to say that this would probably fall more into that distillery only release, not necessarily an everyday shelf item. So you would see it at, our home place or our Louisville location as well.
Makes sense. And Chad Christina asks, is there a plan to do anything finishing with barrels like Amburana or other types of finishing?
Yeah, and again, I can say that will be definitely in the distillery release, like limited, not everyday shelf item. If it ever
Very
happens, send
cool.
me a bottle.
Jess asks 2 questions. First question, any insights on the char level of the barrels? Second question, can the West Coast whiskey get a rye pick around 120 proof?
Okay, so we use a number 4 char on all of our barrels. We will, number 3 could be used, but it would be on one of those like a test project. It's not going to be on our everyday core items. So our core items are always in char 4. And as far as a rye single barrel pick, when they become available, I can push for it, but I only have so much push on that. But it seems like you guys had a pretty good in with Brandon. So if you got 2 barrels and one of them was a weeded, you guys got a good foothold right there.
Awesome. And
Do
then
it again next
last
year.
question that I can see so far. If I miss anything, guys come off chat for this. Todd asked, do you see Green River doing an age state release in the future?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're going to be coming up on ironically, and I'll backtrack just a tad. We started distilling in August of 2016. Our Bardstown campus started distilling in September of 2016. So you put the things together. Next year, we both hit our 10-year anniversary of having been distilling that long. Of course, we didn't lay down as much. Neither of us did to begin with. So we don't have a lot, then 2017, 2018 is when we started hitting the 90,000, mark. So yeah, I can see us doing some age statement stuff, but it would be a little bit down the road.
Great. That's all the questions I saw in the chat. If anybody else wants to come off mute and ask any questions.
There was a question about the cat sitting behind you, Tyler. Let's see where to go.
You're welcome, guys and gals.
Yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time, especially being a couple of hours ahead of us. So thank you.
Oh, it's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. This is easy. You should have been with me when I had to do the one that was in Australia.
Oh man, breakfast whiskey.
It was it was 4 in the afternoon there, I think, and it started at 10 o'clock at night for me.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
It was all good. We had good time. We had a good time.
Todd and I did a barrel pick at another distillery, and it was 7:30 a.m. Kentucky time, which would be 4:30 a.m. LA time. So that was a long day for us.
A little rough, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, breakfast
It was
whiskey.
it was our first morning in Kentucky, so yeah, it was early.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Another question came in from Chad Christina. Are you guys gonna do something similar to the Disco series with Bardstown?
Oh, the blending. I think to me, what would make sense would be that we blend our Green River and our Bardstown. But that's to me. They ask me some things, they don't ask me everything. So I would love to see that, and I know Dan and I have talked about that a little bit. But I also know that we want to wait until we get a little bit older product too. So I think that we could have some really good and fun experiments going on with everything. So it was we'll see, but I wouldn't rule it out. Let's put it that way.
So you bring up Dan. We are going to be having a Bardstown tasting coming up here, virtual, on December 10th. You guys are the first to hear about it. December 10th, we're going to have a nice lineup. Unfortunately, our Bardstown barrel pick is completely sold out. So Todd is on the hunt right now to find something else to slide in there to be fun for you guys. But we have some special things the distillery's already sent out for. So be looking out for that one coming very soon.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
it is.
we appreciate you staying up with us and taking the time. If you want to jump off, we're going to cover some club business. I know it's getting late for you, and we want to be, again, respectful of your time. But if everybody else could stay on, we do have a few things to talk about or announce once this is over.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I will I will get off and let you guys do your thing. But thank you so much for having me. And don't be shy about reaching out and asking questions if you guys have other questions or whatnot. And what I will try and do so that you can share with your community there is I will get with Wes tomorrow and get some more specific information for you on your 2 barrels and email that to you guys, and that way you'll have it and you can share it with your members.
Thank you so much. We totally appreciate you. You're great. And we had a good time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you
we'll
guys
see
very
you next
much.
time we're in Kentucky. So for sure,
By
we're
all
gonna stop
means,
by.
yeah, make sure you let me know, and if I'm in town, by all means I'll meet you there at the distillery, and we'll have a good time.
Excellent.
Awesome.
All right, thanks guys.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
All right. Okay, we're going to stop the recording there.